Hello guys, it's Carlos Moreno from Moreno Boxing TV, and in this vlog, um, I'm doing a series that focuses on the three different aspects of boxing, which I want to talk about, which is conditioning, technique, and strategy. So for this episode, I'm only going to focus on conditioning first. I'm going to talk about conditioning and why conditioning is important in boxing. And then the next two episodes, I'm going to talk about technique and strategy and how they differ from each other and what's important about those. And then in the final video, I'm going to bring it all together. And from there on, after I've done that, I'm going to then start giving you guys tips and bringing in different strategies, techniques, different fitness programs you can use to condition yourself. But those are the three things I want to talk about in this series. But this episode in particular is about conditioning. So what's conditioning? Conditioning is the boxer's condition. He's conditioned physically and mentally and spiritually as well, you can say. And what you want as a boxer is to be in the condition that allows you to do what you want to do in the ring, in the boxing ring, efficiently, expediently, and effectively. Efficiently, because you don't want to be wasting energy. The more you do something, the more you practice something, the more efficient you become at it, meaning that you begin to do it without spending too much energy on it. So if I'm practicing the jab, like there's a saying, they say, I fear not the man who has practiced the kick, who has practiced 1,000 kicks once. I fear the man who's practiced one kick 1,000 times. It's not about doing 1,000 punches just once, because that's not going to teach you the proper technique and it's not going to give you the conditioning that you need. It's about doing the same punch 1,000 times. So if I throw my jab 1,000 times and more, I become more proficient at throwing the jab. My conditioning improves. The muscles that are in charge of helping me throw that jab, they get stronger. They become more efficient. I use less energy when I'm throwing the jab. My breathing improves. I get fitter, my lungs get stronger. I get more stamina. So I begin to throw the jab without putting too much effort into it. When I'm able to have enough conditioning that I can do things in the ring without having to think about it too much, then it doesn't tax my mind as much. I don't need to consciously be thinking as hard. My subconscious takes over and my body takes over because it's conditioned to do that thing. So the less you practice, the harder you have to think to get techniques off or to do certain things. Conditioning also allows you to be able to execute techniques and fight for a longer period of time. It also gives you resistance. It builds resistance so that when you take punches from the opponent, you don't take as much damage, or if you do take damage, you can recover quickly. Your power of recovery is stronger. So that's conditioning. So how do boxers get conditioned? Most boxers go and do road work. They run, they lift weights. Not every boxer lifts weights, but a lot of them do. They lift weights, they hit the punch bag, they spar a lot, they do pads. All of that stuff is great to condition the body. There's some cycle, some swim. But there's a difference between the boxers that seek conditioning, just physical conditioning, and there's the boxers that seek mental conditioning as well. Physical conditioning is when you simply just train your body, while mental conditioning is when you train your mind. This is not to say that you have to train your mind and body separately. This is simply to say that when you're training your body, be conscious and focus and give 100% of your mind to what you're doing. Don't be distracted. Don't be thinking about parties and girls and this and that. Focus on the activity to get the most out of it. It's easy to get into a habit when you've done something 1,000 times to do it unconsciously, to not care anymore. So you might be shadow boxing and you're just lackadaisical with your punches. You're not really thinking about them properly. That's not the way to true mastery. That's not the way to choose progress. You find that the boxers or athletes or people in general who are always looking to progress and succeed, they're very mindful and focused in their craft. They're very purposeful. So when they shadow box, the boxers that are purposeful, when they shadow box, they're thinking about the technique, they're focused, they're trying to get the best out of their punches, their movement. Every time they shadow box, every time they hit the punch back, every time they spar, they're asking questions. They're trying to learn more. They're trying to improve. So if you go back to that saying, I fear not the man who has practiced 1,000 punches once or kicks. I fear the man that has practiced the same kick 1,000 times. You also have to add to that, I fear the man that has not only practiced the same kick 1,000 times, but the man that has purposefully, consciously and present-mindedly focused on practicing the same kick 1,000 times or more. 1,000 hours of practice is not enough. 1,000 hours of unconscious practice is definitely not enough. What we need is conscious practice, present-mindedness, focus. So if I'm going to practice 3,000 hours, 30,000 hours, however many hours it is, and I'm not focused, I'm not getting the most out of it. But if I do, like, say, 3,000 hours of conscious practice, and my opponent has done 6,000 hours of unconscious practice, where he's only focused maybe 1,000 hours of that, the quality of my experience and my practice is superior. So I should have an advantage. So when you seek conditioning in boxing or any martial art, seek not conditioning only physically. Seek to condition your mind. Seek to be able to focus. Seek to be able to focus on your breathing. Do meditation. Try different things. Take a course on mindfulness. Explore different sports. Explore different martial arts. Read up on Buddhism. Look at different religions. Check out different spiritual paths, things that work for you. But look to grow in areas outside of your chosen sport, outside of just boxing. Condition your mind, condition your spirit. And it can only do good for your boxing. It can only help you progress. Try new things so that it's fresh. So when you go into the boxing gym, you're focused on a weakness that you might have, or on exploiting a weakness that your opponent has, or learning a new technique, or moving a certain way, or breathing in a particular way. Every training session is an opportunity to learn something new for yourself. You don't need to wait for your coach to come and tell you what to do. You figure it out on your own. You know, focus. Ask questions deep down in your heart. What do I need to work on? Where was I weak? Record your sparring. Watch it back. What do I need to change? What do I need to work on? What punches was I not throwing? What defense was I not mindful of? So that's what I mean by conditioning. When I talk conditioning, I don't just talk about the body. You know, I think it's in the Bible, it says, men shall not live on bread alone. That you need the word of God as well. In martial art, you can say, fighters cannot condition the body alone. You must condition the mind. You must be able to focus. So when you're doing all them weights, when you're running, when you're doing all that training, pay attention. Watch the weight that you're lifting. Look at it, observe it, feel it, sense it, be one with it. When you're running, look around. take in the environment, focus, watch your feet, feel your legs running, be purposeful, be mindful, push. Don't just run lackadaisically. Push yourself, breathe, get your breathing in tune with your running, with your rhythm. Every second you must apply your mind. Every second. To be the best and to be the most efficient prize fighter or warrior, or to be a master of anything, you must apply your mind at every second, every opportunity of practice. I can add to that a little bit. I can say there's a lot of people that procrastinate in life. They procrastinate. They don't do certain things. But you find that those people, when they do something, when they do wake up and start taking action, they're geniuses. People call them geniuses. They suddenly wake up and they get motivated and entrapped by something, and they go for it and give 100%, and they come out with masterpieces because they're totally absorbed and focused on what they're doing. They have that ability. They're captivated. They're engaged. Some boxers are like that. Some fighters are like that. Some boxers who go into the gym, they're not very good at other things. They don't want to do other things, but they can when they naturally can take to boxing and they can focus and they're fascinated by it. Some boxers themselves, they don't like skipping. They don't like hitting the pads. But when they spar, they love sparring. They come to life and they're just really good at sparring. They're naturally good. But to be good, to be truly good at boxing, you have to be good in all areas. You have to minimize your weaknesses as much as possible. You can't have preferences for, I don't like skipping, I don't like hitting the pads, I don't like doing this with that particular technique. You have to be able to engage your mind and fully focus on everything. You have to apply yourself in skipping and become better. If you skip good or well, skip even better. If you're hitting the bag and you're good in the bag, hit even better. If you're lacking in sparring, apply your mind, focus, spar better, improve, draw up techniques, record your strengths and weaknesses, record video footage of your sparring, come back stronger. You must apply yourself to be truly conditioned. You must truly apply your mind. It's not just about the body, but the body cannot be dragged by the mind, nor can the mind be pushed around by the body. I'll leave you guys with that one. So that is on conditioning. My next vlog is going to be talking about what is technique and how does it compare, what is the purpose of technique and its position, and how should you get the most out of your technique. And then after that, I'm going to talk about strategy. What is strategy in boxing? How does it work? And why is it important? Until then, keep your guard up at all times and let's get ready to box sale.